The book of Ecclesiastes is a part of an ancient genre called wisdom literature. That genre was given over to imparting wisdom and knowledge about the inner workings of the life that we all live. The assumption was that this world is too complex for any one person to live in a way that causes flourishing for themselves or for the people around them. And so God provides a means by which we can understand it and navigate it. One of my favorite passages from Ecclesiastes is in chapter 3. Listen to what the author says. For everything there is a season, a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. And on the author goes, contrasting opposite ends of spectrums, emphasizing the importance of each end in their appropriate time and in their appropriate balance, as if to say that this life isn't one thing or the other, but a balance of contrasting poles. And that's a profound thought. But the wonder in wisdom literature is found when you sit with these words and you ask yourself questions. Do I live as if this were true? Do I do the right things at the right times? Do I neglect any one of these ends of a spectrum altogether? I've had the opportunity to live in multiple different countries over the course of my life. And one of the things that experience has allowed me to observe is that every culture has things that are good. Every culture has things that are bad. And every culture has things that are neutral, neither inherently good nor bad, but beautifully unique to that particular group of people. Having gone to other countries has allowed me to see my own culture with new eyes, more easily distinguish between the good and the bad and the neutral. And in my humble yet somewhat informed opinion, Americans understand that there's a time to work, but they don't understand that there's a time to rest. Henry Nouwen once said, "We meet the world with a heart of rest." But what does that mean? Does it mean that we're less dependent on our efforts than we first thought? Does it mean that the projection of our productivity and utility in this world is less important than we realize, and maybe even harmful? Does it mean that sometimes being less productive means being more meaningful? Does it mean that if we lose sight of this, we could lose sight of something intrinsic to what it means to truly be human? Does it mean that we choose to live in agreement with how we were originally designed to be? For most of us, this pandemic has cleared much of our schedules. Perhaps with that freedom, we can recapture a bit of this ancient wisdom, to reorient, to reprioritize, to insist on the rest for our weary souls. There is a time to labor, but what if now one is right? What if instead of meeting the world with restless hearts, we meet it with a heart of rest?